Good morning, folks. We're going to do some artwork for Eberron and D&D. Give me a second here to check in on my signal and make sure that we're coming through clearly. I'll go through a quick intro and we'll get to work here for an hour or so today. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. 1, 2. That sounds pretty good. Now let's drop that down so it stays out of the way. I'm going to grab the link here for me to do some quick social media posts. And then we'll get started. So for those that are new to the team, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And I've been a DM since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999, and I've been an Eberron enthusiast since 2004. And I've been creating content on the DMsGuild since 2018. And checkbox. But I haven't done anything officially for Eberron yet. So this is a great opportunity for me to give back love to the community. And so we're looking at the book cover here. Crystals of Mabar is for characters 7th, 8th level. We're fighting undead, demons, and necromancers in the Carnwood of Carnath on the continent of Corvair. So we design the adventure, play test it, do all the writing, have a co-writer, Andy Headley, who helped me with creating the adventure. And then Stuart Braz is our editor, who completely helped us reformat the style, as well as the wordsmithing that went into the piece. And now that that's done, we've done our layouts and we're doing the artwork on all the pages of the book. So once all the art is done, the assets are assembled, we publish on the DMsGuild, and we move to the next book. And the next book that we're going to publish after this is the Bastions campaign supplement that we've been designing on Mondays and Thursday nights. And I've also been translating the new Dark Sun UA subclasses for 2024 on Tuesday and Friday lunches, converting those to the color mana system for Magic the Gathering for use in D&D 5e. So having said all that, if you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications so you can tap in with more stuff in the future. And here's a bunch of books that I've already created on the DMsGuild, including the Color Mana System, the Spelljammer book that I created, Point Warlocks. It actually is gold, so I need to update that. Thanks a lot for all the support, guys. And Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica for Warlock subclass options with the Ravnica guilds as your patron. And ability check casting is a means of expending time and skill checks in exchange of spell slots for spellcasters, in case you don't want to be reliant on any particular full casting class in your team. So these are some of the ideas, and let's get to work. So I'm going to bring this down here. Let's grab. We made this book cover around episode 40, and we're currently at episode 547. Today we're working on Teleportation Runes. So the way that one of the features, there's multiple plot lines in this adventure, but there's always necromancers in a dungeon performing a dark ritual to create a permanent manifest zone to the plane of Mabar. And if you're not familiar with what that is, stay tuned and we'll keep you clued in. But I'm going to, let's see, let's open up the crystals. I'm going to hide the sigils for now. There we go. This is where I'm at. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to. We've got a blue base. I'm using this this white highlight. Blue and white magic usually means teleport to me in the world of Magic the Gathering. So that's what we're going with. Yeah, I'm just going to make some facets. There's no specific shape that the crystals are supposed to have. But a teleportation circle has 6 runes that are an address or destination for people using the teleportation circles. If they dial in the address, kind of like Stargate, if you dial in the address that you know that a circle is at, you can arrive at that teleportation circle with the teleportation spell. And the unique feature of this teleportation circle is that it has instead of set runes in the circle, it has basically divots. We're going to probably end up drawing like a little divot thing off to the side to show how a crystal gets inserted into these sockets. And when you set the sockets in the arrangement that it is, like here's your 6 sigils, and when they're in this arrangement, this is your destination. But they can take these crystals out or swap them around. Swap them around, it becomes a new destination, even though it's the same location. And if you just take the crystals out, it disables the magic circle completely. So it no longer has a destination. So the heist mission that you can run in this adventure is to take a replacement set of crystals and install them into this circle, so that your employer can start gating material into the facility. And so once you get a sending stone and a set of the crystals and a map, and once you locate the teleportation circle, you can insert the stones and use the sending stone to say doors open, and then your employer opens the gate. You walk through to go get paid, and he starts sending assets through. And the first set of assets that get sent through is basically a SWAT team to go take out the necromancers. And we know as DMs that the plan is to usurp the necromancers and take control of the operation without them. But your players could be deceived as part of the adventure to think that like you're working with Bastion Keep and Aether Academy to recover a stolen artifact. There was in fact an artifact stolen, and that is in fact something that Aether Academy can be attempting with the sheriffs of Bastion Keep. But your character that may or may not be active in your actual adventure. So if you want to deceive your characters of your intent, you can create this false story. Well, this true story provided to you by false people that, yeah, you're working for Aether Academy to recover this artifact. Help us with that, but don't take the artifact out of the facility. Instead, get this teleportation circle up and running so we can send authorities through to start arresting everyone. But we just need a special team to achieve it. So we're hiring your specialist characters. You're 8th level or 7th or 8th level. You are specialists. You are highly skilled. And if you're running an ongoing campaign, you might have a reputation already with law enforcement. So there's one plot hook. The default plot hook is that you actually are hired by law enforcement to investigate missing people that are being sacrificed to the ritual. But you don't know that going in. You just know that people are complaining that families have gone missing and everyone is scared. There seems to be monsters in the woods, so come help us. And so the sheriffs are already overwhelmed with post-war policing of the Karnath interior, so they don't have time to go chasing after every monster story that comes up. So they hire you to go investigate it and give you badges to have the authority to investigate, ask questions, and deal with anything in case there actually is a problem. And if your team does well, this can become a source of adventure hooks in the future, or you can be permanently deputized, or if they want, they can become sheriffs of Fort Bastion and start. But the default assumption is if things go well, you're deputized and given the dubious title of sheriff of the Carnwood for all these. There's a bunch of refugee camps or villages that are starting to crop up of displaced soldiers and refugees from Sire that don't want to go into the Mournland to figure out what happened to Sire. They're just normal people that got displaced by war. So they naturally ended up in Karnath, which makes sense. And Karnath needs people because they've been running a war forever, and so they're happy to accept these new farmers on their land, but since the land is tight they're starting to create these villages along the Carnwood, which is famous for being haunted. So when people start complaining about monsters in the woods, they're like, yeah, we warned you, there's monsters in the woods, be careful. So now they're like, no, we need help. People are missing, not like in an eaten by a monster sort of way, but just like disappeared. We think people are being kidnapped. And so they send you in to find out what's going on. And if you follow the leads, it takes you into the Carnwood to an unexpectedly swampy, necrotic terrain, which is a manifest zone to the plane of Mabar. Basically, Mabar, the source of necromancy, like the source of negative energy and undeath and stuff in the world of Eberron. So you find this unnatural terrain and creatures that are spawning in it, and it's creating undead. And you find your way to the necromancer's lair, where they're performing a ritual to create this environment that spawns undead, basically. So it's necromancers basically getting free castings of raise dead, not raise dead, animate dead, and create undead. And hey, Fox, it's good to see you. That's another crystal. So once we build these frames, we'll be able to do this dark inner, like this inner glow, and we'll change we'll colorize the runes, and so probably what's going to end up happening is this is probably going to end up doing something like this off to the side, and then doing like a zoom in on here of like, here's your teleportation circle. You can see it bending away. And that there's a socket here that you insert a crystal into. And if I do it right, it won't look stupid. Something like that. Right? So that'll be a side illustration over here when I figure out the balance on these things. I'll probably push these crystals in underneath a little bit more. Just have like little arrows that are pointing to each of them, or like a zoom in sort of thing here. Like that, something like that. So it's a diagram, and then it demonstrates you put the crystals in the holes to turn the thing on. And so it's instructive, and it'll be its own little handout that the players can get when they take on the mission. So let me take all of this back. But for now, we're just keeping the larger size, mostly just for illustration purposes, just to get the things done, and then we'll be able to resize and rearrange where all the crystals are at in the illustration to get the stuff to be illustrative, to be demonstrative, to get the point across. Anyway. Don't mind me, I'm just failing at English. Let's zoom in again. Let's grab this, and let's just keep carving around. But so the sheriff is the default plot hook. That's what they assume you'll be doing in the adventure. It's a noble quest that almost any team can get behind. And it sets your character, if you're part of an ongoing campaign in Karrnath, it sets you up to become basically law enforcement and to do like X-Files type stuff or wherever the team wants to go. There's an entrance to Kyber underneath the facility that the team could then use the facility as a bastion to then lead down into the Underdark, because the Underdark goes to Zoriat, or Realms of Madness, and sorry, not Zoriat, Dalkir. Thank you. Dalkor is the. Is that right? Is it? No, it's Zoriat. Yeah, it's Zoriat. Anyway, Kyber is connected to the Realms of Madness, and if you delve too deep, like a greedy dwarf, you'll crack open Kyber, and it basically becomes a mythic dungeon that, when you delve deeper, sends you to the plains of madness, and you're now in the outer plains. So I love that concept. I think that's super fun. Ever since, that's one of the things that really sold me on Eberron, honestly. When I decided to adopt Eberron as my forever prime, it's because of the World War I style of culture in the human realm, and the vast old culture of the Dargoon. I forget what they're called offhand right now. Sorry, but there was a hyper intelligent green skin population of goblins, and like goblins were the smarties. Like kind of like gnomes are inventors, so thus are goblins in Eberron. And there's degenerate goblins that are just basically bone crunchers, stupid. But there's also hyper intelligent, like blue goblins from old school D&D that are like psionic and basically like forge from X-Men. If you can imagine a thing, they had the magic and enough technology to be able to produce it. And so all these ancient eldritch machines exist that if you like, half the reason you want to go delving into old dungeons and crypts and vaults is to find these eldritch machines that may be manipulating magic or mana in a way that you've never seen before, that can become exploitable as a resource. So you can be hired by all sorts of archaeology, adventuring guilds that are sending you on these quests to discover these ancient machines that they can then apply. And when we were playing Cypher, when we were using Eberron in the Cypher system, that was the setting concept that we went with. That was our we were actually playing Warforged sympathizers. So not necessarily Warforged ourselves, but people that were sympathetic to the cause of Warforged, and were attempting to assemble an awakening for the that's not the right way of putting it. What's the right way to put it? To help nurse forgotten Warforged soldiers back into society. Hey, the war is over. It's time for you to lay down your arms, because they'll find these basically these abandoned bunkers that had AI intelligence, mecha, and it was basically like a barracks for Warforged soldiers that would create these strongholds and then use them as strong points during the war to keep enemies at bay. Mostly between Breland and Aundare is where these sort of bunkers would be set up to keep Aundare mages from being able to advance. So they basically became like this foxhole system of mecha machinery and Warforged with AI sentries, and each bunker would have its own AI system activated, so it was self-preserving, and would have construct workshops that could repair Warforged and automated sentries. And they were all throughout. There's this mountain range between Aundare and Breland, and these mountains were just dotted with these pillbox bunkers, kind of like Contra, the video game, like the old Nintendo Capcom game Contra. There was like this robot alien force that were setting up bunkers and fox trenches throughout this mountainside. In Contra, it was in like Venezuela or Colombia or something, some vaguely South American location. There was this robot alien force that was taking control of South America, so you had to go and destroy the aliens. This was sort of like that, but instead it was Warforged and AI, and you weren't trying. The team wasn't trying to destroy them; they were trying to rehabilitate them, to lay down their arms, and consequentially give the players control of the technology inside of the pillbox that they would use to eventually create an army of Warforged themselves under the righteous cause of, you are a people that have been wronged, and you should restore. You should get you should get your war. You should get your spoils from war for all the sacrifices that you've made of having to exist in this sort of a PTSD perpetual state of you are only soldiers, but yet you have souls and they hurt. So it was a fun campaign. It was a lot of fun, and it's Eberron's Cipher is amazing when you have that sort of a setup, because Ciphers is all about creating temporary magic items or investing resources to permanently make these artifacts, and Eberron is just really good at that theme of a setting. Like, it's really, Cipher System shines in that sort of a narrative because of the temporary nature of ciphers and the investment of artifacts, being able to create artifacts and discover various ciphers. Like you can have a tank that is going to run out of energy after like 12 hours of use. That's essentially a cipher. That's a temporary magic item, even though it's a vehicle. It's like it's a large scale. It's like it bridges the gap between artifact and cipher, that it is a powerful machine. But once it runs out, it runs out, or you have to find a way to repower it. And we had integrated docents. The docent is basically a spirit that's bound into a ball, like into a marble or whatever object you want, like a trinket. And that sentience, when you attune to it, can provide you with proficiency or expertise in a skill. It could teach you a language, or it can provide you like with inspiration dice. It's a floating mechanic basically, in the form of a small attunable object that is an AI itself. So it has a personality that like coaches you through skills or acts as a translator for you to know a language. Like, you don't actually get the skill, but when you're using the docent to guide you, you effectively have that ability. Like inspiration dice, for instance. And so the way that I run Warforged is that the soul of a Warforged is actually a docent, and the docent is installed inside of the Warforged body. So when a Warforged is killed, you don't actually die. Your body just becomes disabled. If I can fetch the docent from your frame, then I can plug that docent into a new body and effectively resurrect you that way. And so you can see where this might be going. When you come across mecha or tanks or hover ships, or the AI that oversees the operations of the Warforged facility, those are just docents plugged into a frame. So a tank might have like one pilot position, but then it has additional slots to place more docents for them to work as a team, so you can power up like a titan, like the colossal titans that are like 50 feet tall. And like it takes like 4 docents to make that work. No! Oh, I just poured water all over my keyboard. Hold on. I'm stumbling around a lot. Hold on. Let's see if I can fix this before anything bad happens. I gotta protect my computer. Pour water all over my desk, so give me a hot second here while I cope. I have a bunch of towels that I use as a fake map, as a fake so I'm mostly safe. Not how I expected to spend my time with you. But here we are. And let's see if I can take care of the keyboard. looks like the keyboard's gonna be okay. It's wet. Dry off the keyboard real quick. That'll dry. That'll be okay. All right, I think we're gonna be okay. Damn, I hate that. Did not have that on my bingo card for the day. I'm going to check my computer just in case. All right, let's do that. And everything should be back in order. Let's do that. We should be fine. Okay, we should be fine. Oh, that was an annoying scare. So the Warforged and Machines document that I've been making, like a Mecha Kaiju book for Spelljammer, that is going to have a section on docents as machine souls to power these giant mecha. So we can make like animal mecha and people-shaped mecha, and it'll be fun. Hey, what's up? I spilled ice cream. Oh God. Oh no. I could totally see that happening. Oh man. What a waste of ice cream. Didn't they used to just call it frozen ice cream? Or am I making that, or am I just confusing frozen yogurt with ice cream, like I'm combining them into some sort of an abomination? Maybe. All right, we're back on track here. Holy Hannah, what a jump scare. I'm going, just to give you guys a heads up, I have to end just a little early today. I've got some things that I need to get resolved before my day begins, before my day job begins. So I'm going to be cutting out at probably around like 7:45-ish. So we still have like maybe a half hour or so. But I'll be bailing early, and I'll be back tomorrow morning to. I'll probably work on this a little bit tonight, and see about what we can do to get this finished this week. And then this is the last illustration that we need to finish for the Council of 12 conspiracy plot hook. And then we did the art for Ader Academy a couple weeks ago, and we're going to go back and finish the rest of the illustrations for Ader Academy. Because Ader Academy could hire you as an adventure hook to recover the artifact that was stolen, but do it quietly. So that there's no, like, if the government starts questioning whether or not Ader Academy has the security needed to keep dangerous artifacts secure, if the government starts questioning that, they could suddenly have a lot more government oversight than they want, or they could be told to shut down efforts or to cut back on their budget, or all sorts of horrible things could happen. So they want you to recover the artifact quietly, and in that plot hook, they give you a a small instant camera. It's a crystal that when you look through it, you can use a magic action to make a copy inside of the crystal of anything that you're looking at through the crystal. So it becomes a camera, essentially. It can hold a number of illusionary images in the crystal at once, which you can then use as which they can use to investigate, document, and potentially prosecute any evidence that you bring back with you. So they want evidence of the necromancers. They want evidence of the lab, of the scientists that are working in the labs, of the undead, of the manifest zone, of the artifact. You could have that plot hook combined with the sheriff plot hook, so that you are officially trying to recover the artifact instead of trying to do it on the down low. And there might not be any reports of missing people. So you change how the sheriffs are interacting with the adventure. And so you can combine those plot hooks together. You could combine the conspiracy with the sheriff with Aether Academy, in that it's not Aether Academy doesn't actually know anything has gone wrong. The 12 conspiracy has set up a false front of a fake representative of Aether Academy that has been quote unquote coordinating with the sheriffs of Bastion. And although you are truly deputized, you're actually there to subvert the goals of the necromancer, and instead of returning the artifact to Aether Academy, it's go through this teleportation chamber with the artifact, and you'll save the day and will reward you. But when you do, after you get your reward, it was just a pop-up front. So they're not actually working with Aether Academy. They're not actually working with law enforcement. It was a heist. It was like a Catch Me If You Can sort of heist, where it turns out that you stole the artifact for them, and now you're being blamed as the criminal. When the police finally find out what's going on, they come after you, and you have to prove, no, this wasn't me, and now you got a grudge against these heisters. So that's another way that you can combine. There's 6 plot hooks in total, and you can mix and match them like that to give you access to different resources, information, and adventure rewards. My favorite is the default plot hook. So when we originally designed the adventure, we were having all these variables, and like, here's a room, and if you're using this plot hook, this information is available, and if you use this plot hook, this piece of information is available. But it became a little bit too schizophrenic. So under Stuart Braz's wise judgment, hey, it'll be a lot easier to format this if you just have one main plot line and then have like an appendix with alternate plot lines, and then modify each of those areas independently, so you don't have to just have this cascade of weirdness throughout the adventure. You can just have one flow through the adventure, and then at the back end of it is, now that you've absorbed how the story goes, here's other stories and how they work inside of that framework. So, question for the playtest on Saturday: are there pre-gens available? I don't have any. I've got 2 characters that are 7th level, but they're built for Mage Tower tournaments, not dungeon crawling. We're 8th level now, and no, I don't have any 8th level pre-gens right now. We've got a lot of characters that are lower levels, but nothing that's 8th level yet. Why, are you looking to swap something in? For those that don't know, on the channel, Foxtrot is one of our playtesters on my Discord channel. He's helping us with playtesting for the Martial Power System in a Mega Dungeon right now, and we just got 8th level. And so if I need to take time to build one, I can make time for that and have a couple, like 2 or 3. I have time to make 2 or 3 pre-gen characters. if you need me to make some, I can. Are you looking at bringing somebody in new, or do you not have the time to upgrade, or do you want? Fox has been playing a paladin, 5e2 for paladin, and that's been super fun. Hope you don't mind me talking to the audience, because I mean, you did bring it up on stream, so it's fair game, right? I was waiting to just grab one instead of updating Chicken Bone. What would you want to play, or do you just want me to build something for you? Full casters are available now in the playtest, alongside all of the martial and half casters that we've been testing. I think the martial playtest has gone strong enough that we should be weaving them into a larger party mix. Plus, it's an opportunity just to play with color mana a little bit more, which is always welcome at my tables. I know that I know Ebon is sticking with his champion fighter, who is a goddamn beast. Uchi is playing Monk of the Open Hand. Nightmare is bringing in a ranged ranger that's specializing in using action economy to inspire and provide bonuses as a commander type class. I think Ranger is going to work really well as a commander class. I mean, its bonus action can constantly be used for a mark of prey to spike single target damage, but I think his plan is centered more around just being effective at range with a ranged combatant while providing support when he doesn't have anything better to do. Like, sometimes it's not worth using your bonus action to mark a new target if that target's just going to get dusted before, like, if you can't drop it in one hit and it's going to get dusted before it's your turnaround, it won't necessarily be worth the bonus action needed to mark it as your prey. It could be more effective to use that action economy to help whoever's next act more, you know. So there. Hey, this is coming along. I'm really happy with this. It's a good use of our day. So if there's anything in particular you wanted to play, I could make you an 8th level character. It might not, the formatting might not necessarily be intuitive to you, because I organize information the way that Phil's organized information as a player. It might not necessarily be intuitive. And I always just use a notepad. I like to actually write out. I don't like using, well, anytime you're using playtest or third-party content, you can't use the D&D Beyond app. You can't just, like, if you have to use an app to be able to make a character, you are not set up to do homebrew at all, because you're too reliant on not understanding the tools to be able to build for yourself. So I always make my own character sheet, basically either a spreadsheet or a notepad that just lists out everything in groups of information that can be cut and pasted in whatever order you need it to be. And so I would be happy to do that. I just need to, if you just need me to make some time, if there's a specific direction that you want to go in, I will happily build in that direction. Otherwise, I'll just make something, and I'll just make a couple random things, and you can grab something if you want it. I also want to run matches of Mage Tower eventually. There's been more interest running the Mega Dungeon, of course. But we're 8th level, and the plan was to cap the Mega Dungeon at 11. Thank you, Talent Tower. To cap the Mega Dungeon campaign at 11th level, and then go from 11th to 20th level playing Mage Tower at scaling levels to see if it is a viable option to have tournaments as an arena match instead of gladiator kill each other matches. I just think it'd be fun to have a team sport available for people to optimize around. since gladiator matches is always like, let's build 20th level characters and see who can take the longest killing each other. Yeah, I've done a couple of those arenas. I did arena combat like that in 3rd edition. It was fun. I always played a Warlock. Warlocks can be pretty invincible in 3rd edition once you get into the 4th tier. Those are always, how can I become something indestructible, or how can I kill something in a way that's difficult to defend, and let's see if we can avoid a stalemate. Like, you've got 10 rounds, go. It's like, ugh. Those are just such... 20th level one-shots just are exhausting, whether in arena mode or actually like doing like a one-shot. Like a one-shot, when you have a one-shot at 20th level, and you've got a 4-hour session, we're talking just like a chain of 3 or 4 high-level encounters, and then your time is done. It's like you have your entry guardian to the dungeon, you've got your midway distraction, and then you've got your boss fight, and then your 4 hours are done. It's like one-shots at 20th level are... honestly, I don't even think they're worth the investment of time. I've ran multiple campaigns in 5e and definitely in 30, up to and past 20th level. Like, I've ran 3 campaigns from level 1 to 20 in 5th edition so far, and 20th level campaigns are super fun if you build them from scratch all the way from level 1, because the amount of grudges that your players accumulate against NPCs in a full 20 level campaign is fantastic. I've talked about this before, but I'll tangent real quick and say, when you're organizing, if you're contemplating a 20th level campaign, first you have to have a team that's going to show up. Ride or die, they're there, and so that you know that you'll be able to rely on them. And then you organize the campaign into 5-level sorties. So level 1 to 5 is one theme, and it creates a cascade of potential rivals and complications, and then you lean into whichever one seems the worst that isn't resolved, or that the team seems most interested in pursuing. And so from 1st to 4th level, you create your first season. If your campaign is a TV show, you have 5 seasons: 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 16, 17 to 20. So all D&D campaigns from level 1 to 20 are 5-season campaigns, and every 5 levels you update you finish a season, you reset. So you have a boss fight that you can clear at 4th, maybe 5th level. You can eyeball where, like, if you want your team to spike at 5th level before they defeat the first boss, great. But if you have your first boss at 4th level, your team hasn't gotten extra attacks yet, and they haven't gotten 3rd level yet. So that low level, that low gritty reality from level 1 to 4, like, your big power spike is a feat and a subclass feature. So first tier adventuring, if you go, or first rank adventuring, if you go with this 5 episode theme, is super low magic. It's very, very mundane. You only have 1 attack. It's dangerous. So that's a fun vibe. And then you defeat the villain, and now your 5th level characters, you've just gotten access to 3rd level magic and extra attack. And whatever wasn't resolved in level 1 to 4 starts to escalate into the next boss. And so you have through 8th level to take out that boss. Or, if you want to give your team the power spike at 9th level, your casters can get access to 5th level spells. But if you resolve the boss fight at 8th level, then your team gains 9th level, and they have another power spike in a new campaign. Essentially, whatever wasn't resolved in the 1st or 2nd season escalates and becomes the new boss in the 3rd season. And of course, if you're laying down a field of adventure hooks, the team if you're doing it right, your team can't handle all of them. There's things that they have to choose to forego to pursue otherwhere. And so whatever it is that they forego becomes an escalated threat. So as your characters gain tiers of power, you may have heard about this insect, like these crazy bees, attacking villagers when you're level 3. But you're like, yeah, whatever. There's bees. Who cares? It'll go away in the wintertime. But here you are, 13th level, entering the 4th season, and it turns out that those bees have become an intelligent swarm that are now creating giant bugs that are tearing up the forest or whatever. And now you have to fight like CR7 insects, like chulls, like bumblebee chulls that can fly. Right now you have a whole fucking chull farm on you that's threatening to take over the local community. And that becomes an interesting 13th level threat, right? That brewed up because you ignored your bumblebee problem back at 2nd and 3rd level. So it just hasn't been tended to. So if you're like, oh, that seems like fun, you can just escalate that to the absurdity of whatever tier of play you're at. And once you get into the 4th tier, basically, if you build a good campaign, all these little unresolved plot hooks and microaggressions against your team culminates into them getting a grudge against a particular person or ideally organization. And as the team continues through the campaign, they'll at least my team has a hate for a certain or somebody. They pick somebody to hate, so it becomes their center point of activity. Like when we don't know what else to do, let's go hate on whoever. It's a good way to run your campaign. And so they will, as a DM, you can constantly throw out plot hooks and different things that this hate group is involved in that you don't have time to get to all of it, but you can at least get to some of it. And so the adventure hooks that the team decides to go on is based on whatever they think is going to be most fun, furthers their goals, and punches whoever they hate in the eye the most. So those are the 3 factors that go into a team deciding which adventure plot hook to follow. And so if you keep peppering them with all these little plot hooks that they can't pursue all of, it's keeping your hopper full of things that they're aware of but haven't dealt with, and as they gain levels, they escalate to become challenges equivalent to the level of the characters, so that the campaign is evolving with them. And every time they solve a problem, you introduce 1 or 2 new problems. So it becomes this rat's nest of, I can't deal with all these things. Let's hyper focus on what's most important to us. And then they start accumulating this grudge of, we haven't been able to do anything about X, Y, or Z. And so when you get into the final tier, the last season of your game, fifth season, 17 level plus, it basically becomes a bucket list of them resolving all the shit that they wish they had time to get to, that's now escalating to an absurd level. And if it's all woven together well, it feels organic and natural that, naturally this Chol nest has become our biggest problem because we've ignored it for 14 levels. It's now escalated to the point of it just took over Aundare. So we just lost the nation of Aundare. We have to go rescue that nation from this Chol colony. And now you have to use, they're like CR, like the big ones are like CR12. And you're like 15th, 16th level, and you're like, shit. Let's go do something so that we can get to 17th level. Let's resolve something else on our bucket list and make this our epic feat. And starting at 17th level plus, you start targeting the Chol colony. And by the time you're done with it, the queen has ascended to like this godhood status of power, of psychic resonant energy as an insect colony, and is blah blah blah. Insert epic quest here. But when your team gets into that, they're going to be emotionally charged to be involved in these combats. Like all these epic scale combats that you have at 17th plus level, these are all things that your team has been yearning to resolve that they haven't had a chance. And to them, it's like, this payback time. Let's do this. And it doesn't matter how well they, obviously you want to have a good wrestling match with them, Dogs like to pull on the play toy before they get it and they can go chew on it. Players are the same way. They want a play toy. They're the dog and you are the person holding the pull toy. They want to wrestle with you so they can growl and gnash their teeth and struggle against it and try to rip it free from your hand. And eventually they want to succeed at ripping that free from your hand to say, this is mine. And dogs and players are the same thing. So as long as you're framing your campaign as a chew toy, the players are going to fucking love it. So when you have boss fights, they're going to want to beat the boss, but they want it to be a challenge. They want to have that chew toy experience. Your entire campaign can become that chew toy by how you introduce and add new plot lines to your story. And they get to choose who they have a grudge against. They get to choose who they hate. That's all on them. So it becomes their own thing. Now I love that. I love that about D&D. That is the thing that keeps me coming back to RPGs every week for 30 years. Okay, so we finished the initial facets, quote unquote facets of the crystal. We'll start working on the glyphs. So let's see. I wanted to go with thanks to HappySoulOnline.com. It's an online retailer that sells stones. So I'm grabbing this Adventuring, which is also, these are all blue because blue and white means teleportation to me in the world of MTG. So I wanted to, let's see, have that, we have that. I'm gonna merge these down. Base. I feel like I want to have dark around the edges. And then have it fade into the lighter blue in the center, and then we'll put the sigil in there. I'm experimenting right now. I might hate this. You know, this feels like a guitar pick. Yeah, I think that was the right decision. There's some imperfections here that I can clean up the line art, like these little dribbles things here that are a little off. That's the sort of thing that I can do in the evening when I'm logging time and artwork off screen. Do little cleanups like that. Like that's not really detail work. That's just work, and it's not the best content. It's easy for me to not pay attention to it and to ramble, but it's also not very interesting to look at. Like moving forward and creating new things and detailing different types of technique and change is good for the channel. But I'll occasionally bore you and grind down into specifics and stay there for a while if I have to mash on it. I don't hate that. And then what if I super ramped up? We'll call this dark. And then on top of that we'll have light. Something like that. I like that. I think that looks pretty cool. I'm exploring the idea of these facets as windows into the glow, and since these lines, like these frames, are separating and distorting the angle of perspective, I want to use that to manipulate the lights, the glow inside of the crystals. I think that looks pretty cool. Let's try something like highlight that. Let's do let's do it this way instead. Hold on. Distort, and then highlights. Give me a second. I want to play with this idea here. Oh shit, what time is it? 7:20. Okay, I've got 20 minutes left. Let me just update chicken. I want to play with a rogue using the powers. Ooh. Nice. Okay, so you'll update Chicken Bone for this Saturday, and then you'll build a rogue when you have more time. Absolutely, dude. Nice. Nightmare's been running a rogue for the past like 7 sessions. So he would have, he could certainly give you insights if you wish. And I know he'd be open to the conversation. But you discover for yourself. If you have any questions about any of the class features that the rogue has, there may have been changes since you looked at it last time. There, we're gonna do like that. It's still rough. That's why I need to go through and do a cleanup. But I'm thinking something like that. It looks kind of cool. Let's go with a really low eraser here. Trim. Zero. Smudge will work. Maybe I like this. There. Yeah, we simplified sneak attack so much for the power system. It's when you can deal sneak attack damage, you can either deal sneak attack as normal or instead use a strike power at your maximum rank at no cost. And the math actually works out pretty well. Like at 5th level, you would have 3d6 sneak attack dice. Or you could have 2d6 damage using whatever strike power you know. At 11th level, you would have 6d6 damage in sneak attack, or you could have 3d8 damage from your strike power and use whatever strike you want. So it's just automatic, like at 9th level to 9th level, 11th level, 13th level, 15th level, 9th level, 11th level, it's a 3rd rank strike using d6s. At 13th and 15th is a 4th rank strike using d8s. And then at 17 and 19, it's 5d10 as a 5th rank strike. So it's at 20th level, 5d10 or 6d10, like 6d10 raw, 10d6 raw damage, or 5d10 plus whatever power you know, is basically you're trimming off an average of 5 to 10 hit points of damage to instead be able to like banish something. And since you can only do one sneak attack per turn, when you hit with that sneak attack, it's basically a free strike power, but it's not outclocking the damage that the rogue would normally be able to do. The rogue could, of course, not get a sneak attack, but then decide to pump 5 points of mana into damage to do that 5d10. So effectively purchase sneak attack damage, but if you get a legit sneak attack, it's free. And it scales well, and it simplifies everything. Instead of like, I could do 8d6 worth of sneak attack damage, and I'm going to get rid of that because I kind of like the idea, but I'm not 100% there yet. Like you could with the way that they built 5e24, it's you can deal sneak, like you could do 8d6 sneak attack damage. But we're going. If you want to do this other thing, you're going to do. You're going to shave off like 6 points of 66 damage, and instead you could like incapacitate them or something. You know, they're cool ideas. I like the ideas. Obviously, that's. I was thrilled to see how much those ideas reflect the powers that we already have for strikes. But just one or the other is in a game with so many levers. This is such a simple binary option. It fits 5e pretty well. So strikes become basically just like the cutting strikes. It's just a kicker effect. You're going to do a little less damage than you would have if you hadn't used a strike. But the utility that you get of like blinding them or teleporting or pushing them or stunning them or blah 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 blah, goading them, forcing them to attack you, and then you run away. Like you use goading or provoking strike as your sneak attack, and then bonus action to disengage, and you just yeet away. And now they have to attack you, but you just got the hell away from them. That's awesome. That's legitimately a good strategy. Had a beast riding ranger that was on the back of a wolf, mobile, and hitting people with arrows with provoking strikes on them, and that dog is 50 feet away. Good luck getting to it. It's just, until you can make your intelligence save, that's who you want to hit. So you basically play keep away while the rest of the team is batting them around. It's fun. Goading, by the way, that method of goading or taunting is a very MMO style. So if you have a mobile skirmisher that's using taunts or goads with this system, it's going to basically force the target to move from where it's at towards whoever has goaded them, whoever their taunter is, basically, and that creates movement on the battlefield. People are like, yeah, once I'm in a position, this is all I want to do. It's like, well, that goading is basically keeping them from attacking you, but they're going to move and attack someone else on your team. So protect your teammates and take advantage of the fact that the enemy is going to move next turn to another location and try to close with the taunter. So to a large extent, the behavior of the characters and what actions they have their characters take is dependent on, largely on the mechanics that operate inside the game. It's optimal to get into one position, stand there, and attack. And if I don't have to move, I can maximize just being here and attacking. But you don't gain any particular bonuses for not moving. It's just convenient action economy for you. So that aspect of your character movement is wasted. And then there's the defensive side of it of, well, I don't have to provoke opportunities if I don't move. So you don't want to move because you don't want to have the free hits against you. So getting it, like locking something, like paralyzing something and then hitting it until it's dead is optimal strategy for an adventuring team. So to foil your team, your best strategy as a DM is to give the creature a reason to be mobile, moving from target to target. And honestly, the goad provoking mechanics we have is a reasonable way to have the players lean into that with you, because that keep away strategy. But enemies can use provoking and taunting against you as well. That you can. You could just, like, if I have to attack, like, it's phrased in a way that, like, until you succeed an intelligence saving throw, you have to attack that target. Like, if you attack, you have to attack that target. If you're going to target something with hostility, that is the target that you are going to do that against. That doesn't prevent you from healing your allies. It doesn't prevent you from using your action economy to buff and help your allies attacking that foe, but you're going to want to prioritize that foe until you can get out of it and have freedom of decisions. But you aren't boxed in. It's not like I'm taking away action economy from you. It's just I'm forcing you to choose how do you want to use your action economy, which is a different sort of vibe. Like, it sucks when you have to skip your turn. It's interesting when you can take your turn, but if you're making an attack, it has to be against that target. It's like, well, I don't want to attack that target. Well, then come up with something else to do. So it inspires creativity and problem solving instead of you get to skip your turn. Don't play D&D right now, like, because that hurts. It feels bad. Like Ludo would say, feels bad. Let's go to the light. When we were originally designing martial powers, we started integrating this concept of sacrificing your action economy. And like, if you give up your bonus action, you gain bonus mana. If you give up your reaction, you gain bonus mana. If you give up an attack, you get bonus mana. And that's worked incredibly well for martials to have a small amount of mana, so they can't Nova hard, but they can sacrifice action economy each round of combat to generate free mana, so they can do less, but the things that they do can do more. So it all kind of averages out a little bit, but if you find a good action, like an action routine, you could potentially have a very fast round. Like, if you sacrifice all of your action economy to generate mana and then like give advantages or add dice to your allies' attacks, you're essentially displacing your own action to embellish other people's actions, and that's a fun action loop. But we had originally allowed you to sacrifice your movement to generate a free point of mana to spend during your turn, and that ended up leaning into not moving. That was the opposite result that we wanted. So we removed the movement bonus. So like if you let me reword that. We changed it so only the rogue can sacrifice movement to generate mana. It became a class feature for the rogue. Hey, anyone can sacrifice their attacks, and anyone can sacrifice their reactions, and anyone can sacrifice their bonus actions to generate mana with martial powers. But the rogue can also sacrifice their movement to generate mana. And that leans into the sniper nest idea of where I don't plan on moving, I'm in position, I want to just deal sneak attack damage at a range. And it also leans into, I don't want to stay toe-to-toe with this enemy, I need my movement. So if you are sacrificing your movement to generate free mana, you'll be able to do more in the position that you're at, but you also can't leave that position, so now you're exposed. But it's also only during your turn. So like, if somebody can get you to use your reaction to move half your movement speed, then you can use that because it's not your turn anymore. It's just during your turn you can't move. And then as a result, you get a free point of mana that you can cash in later on. Super fun, super fun stuff. Works really well. But that was a change recently that we made. We made that change to the rogue maybe like, I think 4 sessions ago. And the sneak attack I think clicked in around 4 sessions ago as well. So that's fairly new tech. We also have stances now as sustained powers. When you turn on a stance, it gives you the ability to have multiple reactions if with specific type of reaction powers. that's brand new. There's the commanding stance, which gives other characters inspiration and like rerolls and bonuses to their D20 tests. And then there's defensive stance, which are a collection of different types of reactions that nullify or reduce attacks and damage that your characters take. And these stances allow you to use multiple, defensive stance allows you to use multiple defense reactions per turn if you're willing to spend the mana to do it. And if you're sacrificing action economy to generate mana because you're planning on doing something defensive, or if you're planning on utilizing your commanding stance, you can cash out your action economy. I'm done, but then have like a pile of like 6 mana. It's like, yeah, I'm going to throw a bunch of mana to help make sure that everyone hits that thing, makes that survival check, gets out of that grapple. But none of it actually gives you extra attacks. There's no opportunity attacks that trigger off of it. There's no bonus attacks that you can make with it. None of it even modifies damage. If you're gaining extra reactions during your turn, it's all of it is, it's kind of like bonus actions with wizards. Like all the bonus actions that a wizard can take are all defensive. Misty Step is a bonus action, but it's also a get the hell away from you for free spell. And there's another one I'm thinking of. There's not a lot of bonus spells. The other bonus spells that are out there in 5e24 are basically half casting damage spells, like smite spells and like lightning arrow and shit like that, all trigger off of a bonus action when you hit something. I like that design space for the ranger a lot. Because a lot of those effects for the ranger, a lot of those bonus castings are for area of effect to do AoE damage. So it's like you either use your bonus action to trigger Mark of Prey to single target something, or you're using your bonus action to cast area of effect spells off of an attack roll. So like if a ranger has if a ranger has 2 attacks and you're going to use like lightning arrow or like volley of arrows or whatever, you can make the first attack sacrifice your second attack to create mana that you then use with your bonus action to cast the AoE spell. So you can spam this AoE machine gun spray more often. Which is a fun trope for rangers. So yeah, we're doing the color mana subclasses for the Dark Sun UA. We'll be doing the Druid Preserve. We just finished Gladiator yesterday, the Fighter Gladiator, and that was a fun process. We'll be doing the Druid Preserver on Friday, and I suspect we'll finish it on Monday and maybe have time to get started on the Defiling Sorcerer. If not, then we'll start that on Friday, and then on Monday we'll do the Templar, the Templar Warlock, and we'll probably have that finished by a week from Friday. Yeah, so for like Friday, Monday, Friday, no, possibly 2 Fridays from now, depending on how efficient our time is, and at lunch it's not very efficient. So, but hey, that was my 7:45 alarm. I got to bounce out of here a few minutes early today for me to get caught up on some stuff that needs resolving before my work day at my day job begins. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up now. And Fox, just go ahead and hit me on Discord to let me know if you need any help with anything. I'm happy to lean in any way that I can. And yeah, I like how this is coming along. I'll clean up these frames tonight, and probably drop in some radiance. Probably do the runes tomorrow. And yeah, see what we need to get this finished up and start in on the continuing the Aether Academy plot hook. We'll continue that whenever we get this finished. So that's next, and then Thursday night is the Bastion campaign supplement design. Currently, we're working on the mechanics for armies, sieges, and sabotage of bastions. So that'll be Thursday night. And then Friday, again, we'll be working on the Preserver Druid. So cool, that's it for now, guys. I'm going to kick on out of here. I hope you all have a great day. See you on the other side. Cheers.